refuse to fuck with the media, but I had to tap in with my people, man. Refuse media. That interview coming soon. They just lined me up for the free throw. You hear me? Yeah. Do be on the lookout. Oh.
All right, man. We got a legend in here today, man. Man, I'm blessed to say we got the legendary Kokane in the interview for the Refuse Media interview, man. I appreciate you for coming through, man.
Man, thank you for the invitation.
Man, appreciate you, man. Let's start it off, man. On this one, we got to start off with some history, man. You've been doing this thing a while.
Right.
But not only you, your pops, Jerry Long Sr., writer and composer for Motown.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about it. He did Smiling Faces and Just My Imagination.
Yeah, he did stuff with Four Tops, Miracles, Smokey Robinson. He introduced the orchestrated sound. He's a call-arranger, producer. Helped create the Funk Brothers, the original Motown Funk Brothers, who was doing a lot of stuff behind, you know, different producers from Norman Winfield, Smokey Robinson, da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, called the great Jerry Long Sr., I'm Jerry Long Jr. Yeah, so that's where I got it from, honestly, kind of say.
Oh, that's what I was just gonna get into. Like, would you say your pops influenced you and your sound of him being around Motown and all of that?
Most definitely. I mean, basically Motown sound influenced all, you know, black R&B music, rhythm and blues, you know. So, you know, it felt good to come from the soil where it was royal. Plus my uncle is Willie Hutch, who wrote the Mac ABC. Brothers Gonna Work It Out, you know. So because of their sound, Motown sound, and definitely the Parliament influence is the reason why, you know, rap did what it did. You know, it was an intricate part of being crocheted into hip hop.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Most definitely, man. That's crazy. Okay, so man, so your bloodline wrote the Mac. That's history right there.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Uncle Willie Hutch.
Man, rest in peace, most definitely. Cause that, I mean, influenced one of our biggest influencers, Mac Dre. Rest in peace. You know.
Yeah. You know? That was my guy too, man.
Yeah.
Mac Dre.
Dope. Okay. And you coming from Pomona?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what was it like coming from Pomona in your day? Like, back in the day, like, we know Pomona now because you guys have created the wave for it. But I'm sure back in that day, it was pretty much a smaller city that you guys had to make people know about. Like, what was that like?
Well, it was a melting pot, you know what I mean? You know, I come from the west side of Pomona. The cats started our hood. Trey Fossell, you know, Sintan, came from Watts. You know what I'm saying? Different other places. Some actually born in Pomona. But we would talk a small town with a big, had to prove ourselves. You know, we were murder capital. You know what I'm saying? There's really nothing to write home to your grandma too, like I said. But a lot of people used to come out there from the East Coast, you know, in the early 80s, the mid 80s, from Rakim to Salt and Pepper, MC Light, Biz Marquee. You know, and at the same time, we had our own flavor from Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters. Mixmaster Spade, rest in peace. You know, Uncle Jam's Army. You know, because we had the LA County Fairground. We were the last city out of LA. You know, so when people used to drive out there, they'd be like, it's way out here, Pomona ain't got nothing. But when they came over that hill, they found out it was way real, you know. And I used to follow behind my cousin, Colt 187 from the group Above the Law, who's actually the creator of what you call G-Funk. You know, Warren G put him, you know, had a little segment in him. And I'm an architect of G-Funk, you know what I mean? So, you know, growing up in Pomona, like any other city, it has its hardships, its tales, you know, and we definitely had to prove ourselves. You know, we came with a different sound. We put the P in it, and we put the G in it. And we used to do a lot of talent shows around, you know, Pomona and different other spots. And it just cultivated something different, you know what I mean? Because we represent that LA County, but at the same time, we had our own identity, you know, from Compton to Watts and South Central, and, you know, and even Inland Empire, you know, was turning to IE. And we came up with with a different type of sound. Back when Above the Law was getting put on, like in 1988, you know, it was always a Compton brother in our mix, you know. Eazy-E, to a cat named Laylaw, who's from South Central, University of South Central, USC. His brother was Golmac, who was a part of the group Above the Law, and he had a company called Law House, and also Laylaw was an intricate part of NWA as well. He's in all the Straight Outta Compton videos and different other things. And when, you know, they came to Pomona, you know, niggas was D-boys and hustlers and da-da-da-da-da. And we just all blended, you know, Compton, South Central, recognized Pomona cats. And Eazy gave us our chance to go ahead and tell our tale and bring a different sound to Ruthless. Because when you heard Ruthless, there was like the West Coast version of the Bomb Squad. And for the youngsters that don't know that out there, just look it up. There was like a lot of SB12 and, you know, but see, we slowed it down, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it created something that was different. We were fashioned after Parliament, Zap, Bootsy Collins, all those cats. So instead of calling ourselves P-Funk Babies, you know, we wanted to call it G-Funk. And we didn't know the influence would be so big years later.
Yeah,
and we were just funking, and out of that seed, you know, came Sugar Free, of course, and a whole slew of Pomona artists that we had a different approach and a different style to the game. So years later, you can identify some of the influences from, you know, of course, Warren G, your Snoops, and even Dr. Dre. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because Dr. Dre influenced us too. So Pomona brought something different to the game.
Most definitely. It brought, I mean, in my opinion, it brought the sound that we consider the sound that we stand on and are proud of to represent. Like East Coast have a sound, down South have a sound. Right. And when it comes to West Coast, if somebody were to say, what's the West Coast sound? When they press play, it's typically gonna be some G-Funk that come out the speaker.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's dope that y'all, I appreciate y'all for starting that, man, and bringing that to the table, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that, man. As far as a career, what would you say your first taste of success came, and how did that happen?
Well, I did a 3-song demo in the beginning of 1989 at this spot called Jimmy Hot Tracks Recording Studio, which a lot of Pomona artists, that's where they got their start. Shout out to Laylaw. You know, me, actually, Co-187 produced it because he produced my old Get Down at Ruthless Records. He was the main guy. That was my Dr. Dre. Did the 3-song demo. Laylaw, shout out to Eazy. And it didn't take long to get signed, because the thing that also made NWA very successful is that they played off that controversy and publicity. You know, so when Kokane came to the camp, that was the most controversial name in the whole world, Kokane. Who was gonna call himself Kokane? Mm-hmm. But we turned it around to represent our funk, like warning, listening may become addicting. This is cocaine, not spelled with the C-O-C-A-I-N-E, but the K-O-K-A-N-E. And when you hear his funk, you know, he do so much different shit that it's like being on cocaine. You know, so Eric loved that, and you know, I was always doing different styles, from Rick James to Curtis Mayfield to George Clinton, just as well as our bus. Yeah. So he said that you fit the mold perfect. So like, Above the Law definitely took me under their wing, but Eazy-E allowed me to have a taste of success by writing this cut, co-writing this cut, the 10 Gangster Commandments on Appetite of Destruction, you know, and introducing the character on Niggas for Life called Sweet Talk. So that was my first platinum record in 1991. So that started something different, and it helped create it. Well, it was a significant part of creating the feature game on the West Coast.
Right. Okay. most featured artist, which a lot of people might not know. And you, I mean, in history, you got the record for the most featured artist. How many features you have? Over 4,000.
That's 4,158 features, not speaking about the 25 that's coming out this year. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a lot of features. Now let's talk about where. Okay, they can find the first 1,000 at mostfeaturedartist.com.
Yeah, mostfeaturedartist.com is right there. It's documented. We wanted to put it out there, first of all, to leave a legacy for my family, and then secondly, to inspire generations after generations, you know what I mean, to let them know, because there was a lot of gaps in my story, you know, that people didn't know. But now the mystique started to be cracked wide open, which is a good thing. So, you know, we want people to be inspired by the most featured artists, and at the same time, we want people to fact check, because a lot of people lie to kick it, and we don't have time to lie to kick it. We want you to do your homework, and you know, on the mostfeaturedartist.com, it's 1,000 just put up, but I'm waiting for the right time, actually, when my book come out, to expose the rest of the feature catalog.
Okay. And how did you think that came about, being the most featured artist? Obviously, besides the hard work of putting in the hard work, but well, I guess like you said, is the sound addicting? Like you said, like you said, you got your name. How do you think you became the most featured artist?
I think one of primarily doors being shut, because when I first came to Ruthless Records, you know, Eric loved the idea. It was Kokane. I actually was named by my cousin Co-187 because he said, you dope like cocaine, so you need to be called Kokane. You know what I mean? This was in the late 80s. And once Eric, talking about Eazy-E Right, he was our first West Coast Russell Simmons to the game. He created billions and billions of dollars. Look what came out of that tree. Whole bunch of things. So he had a deal at Epic Records for a group called Above the Law, Poor, Broken, Lonely, and myself, Kokane. It was a multi-million-dollar deal from Compton. Our brother Eazy-E did. But at the time, we didn't know Epic Records were formulating a plan to change my name from Kokane to Who Am I, because they start getting scared. You know what I mean? So by the time our record was finna come out, you know, they start calling me Who Am I, and it pissed us all off at Ruthless Records. Like, how the fuck y'all gonna do that? But see, they already broke Eazy-E off, and he was under certain obligations in his contract and agreement. So once they put Kokane out in 91, a lot of the streets was looking for Kokane, but it was called Who Am I?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the doors being shut that very time was going to be a whole host of doors being shut. But one thing that definitely helped me out was a ruthless artist like myself, at that time being on a death row orientated soundtrack called Deep Cover. A cut called Nickel Slick Nigga. And that was because of real bosses like Hank Caldwell and John Payne, you know what I'm saying, that said no, you know what I mean? Because prior to the death row experience, you know, Warren G, all of us was running around with each other, staying at Cole 187's house. I first met Snoop before the death row experience. Above the Law was actually going to put Snoop out. He auditioned for us, and he was the coolest freestyler. Back then, Suge was our bodyguard, DOC's bodyguard. You know, so a lot of things was going on then. But going back to my cocaine situation, and to answer your question, I think the doors being shut on the name Kokane put fire under my ass. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people had it easy, but I had to work 10 times harder because music was already embedded in my DNA, so it wasn't like, man, fuck that, I'm not doing this. No, I had to work hard. Right. And a lot of times, you know, I did not get paid. I was doing tons of work, man. Working like a motherfucking madman. You know what I mean? Because they didn't want to play cocaine.
Yeah.
And I first had my kids, and this is how I was going to eat. And also, the death of Eazy-E really put us in a deep, dark zone to where we had to, you know, above the law and myself, you know, we had to express ourselves, and we were doing music even more. So the doors being shut is actually a blessing, you know, because I didn't anticipate I was going to be the most featured nothing.
Right.
I was just working hard, you know what I mean? And to look back years later, I thank God those doors were shut,
Right.
you know, because now the whole world know, you know, who is Kokane, what his influences was, and it didn't allow me just to live in my daddy's shadow to fill his shoes, because kids, you know, that's terrible when, you know, certain kids are born and their parents are legendary, and they have a lot to shoes to fill, and it didn't allow me to live in his shadow and to have my own individuality. So I teach my kids the same thing. So here I am later, you know, most featured artist in the game, cracking the mystique wide open, and basically coming out here, as far as my signature sound, to hook up with the youngsters, because they gotta know some of the influence that they have is definitely from what we created.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Back to the most featured artists, there have been over 4,000 features.
Mhm.
Out of all the features, if you were to think of a few, what are some of your favorites, and what would you say is some of the most classic ones?
Well, it's a lot.
I know.
So I'll try to narrow it down to like 10 of them. Definitely doing a record with Above the Law, and that's what I started with. Being on the Easy Records. It's the end of the world. You know, Any Last Words. Later on through the years, you know, let me stop myself. Doing stuff with Tupac. You know, one of the original ones. They helped write Fortune and Fame. So was about to be part of his whole get down. You know, that was my little bro. You know, definitely mixed with him. Yella, E40, being on his records, being on Too Short Records. Jay Dilla. Chronic 2001, LA Niggas. And when you talk about Doghouse, it's a rap, because I've done over 100 songs out. Doghouse. You know, 8 songs on The Last Meal, 10 songs on Deuces and Trays, 3 songs on The East Siders Presents, Doggy's Angels. So, you know, it was a hell of a ride, man, and the ride continues. You gotta look at joints like Stacey Adams.
Yeah.
You gotta look at joints like Bring It On. One of the most memorable things on there was a cut called Friends on the East Siders. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loved that cut. You know what I mean? So the experience of Doghouse really paved the way for the youngsters to make a gigantic pivot today. That era between 1999 and I would say 2007 is the reason why you got your upcoming rappers like Nipsey Hussle and your Kendrick Lamars, and later on your Mustards, because of that particular era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It allowed the youngsters to go ahead and acquire their own identity, but to take those type of elements and mix it up the way they did. You know, so that was a very important era, especially for the West Coast.
And so now that we in the era of the rappers that you were just naming, what's new with Kokane? How are we like what we have coming out today?
Well, you know, the legend continues. You know, it's about the next generation. You know, I'm working with my daughter. I had her out of here. We got a new single called Like Daddy, Like Daughter. I have a company with my wife called Buddy Boy Entertainment. And it's taken off my middle name, Jerry Buddy, you know, which makes sense. We continuing to inspire You know, bridging the gaps between the OGs who really can't put a face, but heard some songs here, heard some songs there. But now we putting the face to Kokane.
Right.
And I'm coming up with a project called Finger Roll Music for the Soul. It's really going back to analog sound, substance, messages, social conscious messages. It's about relationships, about this gangster shit, player shit at the same time. You know what I mean? So that'll be coming out real soon, actually March the 30th. But I wanted to go back to what you call crush groove. You know what I mean? Because sometimes digital and streaming for the older artists, you know, has depleted our royalties to a certain extent. So when I put out this record, it's not going on digital. The full album ain't. It's going on wax CDs, cassettes, and da-da-da-da-da. But I will put everything from the album, as far as singles, on digital. And it's about having your autonomy and independence. And since I went through all those things of helping a lot of your who's who, help them redesign their careers and help them out, you know, after 20-something odd years, it was time for me to take my independence and do what I need to do. You know what I mean? Because I've been crushing grapes for years to drink fine wine. You know, so now that I'm drinking this fine wine, I still have an obligation to come back and sew it up between the youngsters as well, because this is a culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there was a lot of attack on our cultures with different corporate structure. You know what I mean? But now, you know, as one of the forefathers of G-Funk and starting at the dawn of gangster rap, you know what I mean? It's important for these kids to see the face behind this, one of the signature sounds.
Right.
And it's working like a charm. I get to meet cats like yourself, praise God, you and your lovely wife, and meet your family out there, to be able to say, wow, you know, we in the same area operation. I can't really take technology to the same place where I can be with you, talking to you, looking at you. You know what I mean? Giving you how it was. Because it's really tribal, man. It's like we have to put the respect back in the game, and we cannot keep blaming the youth or the kids for it, when at the same time the OG's got to have some accountability at the same time. You know, so it's one of those ones to where I'm not really a preacher, I'm a teacher. You know what I mean? And at the same time a student. Because it's amazing what the youngsters are able to do and make certain pivots and getting prosperity from it. It kind of remind me when they didn't want to play NWA and we was in our 20s. We were young, rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't reinvent the wheel. You could just put some shiny hubcaps on it with some D's.
Yeah.
But the wheel is the wheel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And my thing is, I want to be able to embrace these youngsters even more, and they embrace me, so we can move into a different dimension. You know what I mean? Knock down the walls of division, because it really ain't no division once we sit down and rap.
On top. On top. I'm not sure if anybody pointed you in anybody's direction, or if you just surfing the net. Any youngsters that you listen to nowadays you might want to get in there with?
Well, I'm getting refreshed with the youngsters, because I've been living in Washington, but you know, I'm coming back home.
Okay.
For like 13 years, so I mean, it's like 10,000 rappers every day.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean, which is cool.
Okay.
You know, but I was able to bless Nipsey Hussle with Mr. Untouchable and some more stuff on his project at a time to when his pivot was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can see it came to fruition.
Yeah.
He made a cold pivot,
Yeah.
you know, as he wanted to do. And I was able to lace his artist, Killer Twan. You know, shout out to Killer Twan.
Dope.
You know, on a new Burner project, I like G Perico. We trying to connect the dots with that. And other names that I'm not so much up on, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to embrace them and let them know, you know what I'm saying? Uncle Coke is here for you.
Dope.
You know, so at the same time, I'm a student.
Dope. Dope. I'm gonna show you before we get up out of here. I'm gonna show you a few of the new cats we got.
And
This
put me up
gassing
on
out
game.
here. Yeah. That I know. That I'm thinking that you going, you know what I'm saying? That I think is doing it right, you know.
Right.
So like you said, nowadays, like you said, it's 10,000 rappers every day because all you need is a microphone and a computer and a camera.
Yeah, and then
now
one
you
box.
a rapper. You know what I mean? So it's up to us as the listener now to really decipher what's good or not. It used to go through a machine,
Right.
and then y'all would have to really kick, scream, bite, and be like, no, I'm hard.
Yeah.
And then we might get a chance to hear it. Now a kid can be in his room all day and really create a career, and nobody's ever seen him, and he really created a career. And we have to listen and say, nah, bruh, take that back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna show you a few of the ones that I think kind of gonna make it.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
For sure. I love the legacy, man, and I love getting on the legacy that we have. But I don't want to harp on that because I know we got new stuff that you got coming out, and you trying to mix it in with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With what's going on today. So I want to keep it what's new going on with Buddy Boy Entertainment. Let's speak a little bit more about your daughter.
Right.
Where can they find your daughter? Let's talk about the song you and your daughter got coming out. Let us know.
Well, my
I mean,
daughter's
not coming out. Is it out already?
No, yeah, it's coming out on the
coming
29th.
out. Okay.
That will be coming out on digital.
Okay.
It's the next generation. It's like basketball. You got to get a fresh pair of legs on the court. You know, I'm mostly the coach now, but every Michael Jordan need a Phil Jackson, so a black Phil Jackson.
Right.
And I've been working with her ever since she was a shorty. Her first record came out when she was 12 years old, and just basically showing her the ropes, not making it easy for her, because you cannot make it easy for her. You know, this is a fucked up, corrupt business we in, and I wanted her to take her time. So now she's 23 years old, very bright, talented, sing, rap, produce, fashion model, write movies, film directing, and it took all those times, you know what I mean, for her to say, okay, you ready? So now I have a cut called Like Daddy, Like Daughter, and it's a spinoff for a record that's coming out called Young Columbiana, because I like that movie. You know, that movie was gangster, where the pops raised the daughter as a shorty, and years later she needed that gang to protect herself. You know what I mean? So now that's my daughter's name, Young Columbiana, which her project is called Young Columbiana, but the single I got her on is called Like Daddy, Like Daughter. And she chopping on it, no holds barred. And that's what made me feel good as a father, you know what I mean, to be able to raise a shorty and her grow up into, you know, something that's bright, that oversees my expectations. It's just lost for words sometimes. And plus, me and my wife have a big family. We have 4 boys and 4 girls. I'm all about family, all about, you know, empowering the youngsters. And what makes my daughter's situation different is that she's 20 years old, but she's the executive on her own project. Because it's about empowering these young black women to where you don't have to compromise who you are so much in a male chauvinistic orientated business. You know, now she's know the ropes of executive, but at the same time is willing to learn, and always keeps it humble on the rumble, because that's what her mother and myself interjected into her. You have confidence, but the difference between arrogance and confidence is 2 separate worlds. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
But you should have confidence, and hopefully, more than hopefully, you know, people can see this young black beautiful sister, you know what I mean, articulate that over to our sisters who are the most dogged and dogging themselves. You know what I'm saying? Just to get somewhere. You know, hopefully she can change, and it can be a change the effect of that, or help change the effect of it as a corner piece, you know, to have a ripple effect. And that's what we need. We need strong young black women to be powerful bullet points to help a ripple effect. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of chaos going on, you know, as far as how a woman perceives, I'm talking about the black woman, especially young, how you need to be successful. And taking off your clothes, if that's what you enjoy to do, I'm not knocking. I'm not here to knock no young sister. You know, if that's what you need, feel like you need to do, you know what I mean? I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to say, well, try this.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? See, that's the bad thing about it. If we just act like just because a young black female do that they're better than somebody. No, that's the wrong thing. We're not here to tell nobody that. We're here to tell you, say, it's cool, but try this.
Most definitely.
You know, because it brings a different frequency, and you find out you ain't gotta show your body like that just to think that you're gonna get in a different position. That's the matrix system. So I'm glad, you know, to make a long story short, I'm glad that we are very fortunate and blessed, you know what I mean, you know, as a family, to see my daughters, see my sons too, you know, go in the right direction, to help spearhead some things that can be life-changing to the next generation.
Most definitely. That's dope. That's dope, bro. Amazing. Amazing. Any filming in the future?
Definitely. We got a mini movie coming out, a little short film called Like Daddy, Like Daughter.
Okay.
It's not like a big, gigantic production, but it's something. It's clear. It's doable.
Right.
It's not shot on the 7D. It's shot on the 4K.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that'll be coming out on the 29th.
Okay.
And my new album, which is called Finger Roll, is coming out at midnight on my site at buddyboyent.com. That's BUD. E is in Eric, BOYENT.com. It's an incredible project. It has my daughter on there. It has a cat by the name of Bootsy Collins, who's, I mean, if you know James Brown, Michael Jackson, you know Bootsy Collins.
Legendary, yeah.
It got Gib Goody from the A, who's really the architect of the South Sound, them Dungeon Family Outcasts. You know what I mean? And, you know, I played in movies like Old School with Will Ferrell. I was able to do that. Sing Malibu's Most Wanted, Undercover Brother, been in Training Day, sung that soundtrack. So definitely I'm out here, you know, making my exodus to the next generation, to get re-familiar and put a face behind a signature sound that you might be listening to or influence. You know, I recently hooked up with Disco Boogie, doing some stuff, so it's starting to creep. The OG is starting to creep again out here.
Yeah. Nah, dope producer out of Inglewood. Shout out Disco Boogie, man.
Shout out.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, man, dope. Dope interview, man. I love it. Dope interview. Thanks for coming again. Oh, before you get up out of here, where can they find you? You
can reach me on my Twitter at Kokane Official, Kokane Official, or my IGs at Jerry B. Long, JERRYBLONG, or the Kokane brand, KOKANE_brand. And this is what they do. Come to Uncle. You know what I mean? And let me lace your chucks. Make sure your bread is right. You know what I mean? Because this is a business, not a candy striper business. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. I'm the hook master of the game. And shout out to my brother Nate Dogg too. Because he's, his music and legacy lives on forever. You know what I mean? There was only really two people in the game that was really killing them ever. That was Kokane and Nate Dogg. You know what I mean? Nate Dogg created something. He was on more singles than me. I was mostly album fillers and different things and doing a different type of styles. But, I always celebrate that brother. And celebrate your Eazy-E's, your KMG's, your Mac Dre's, your Jackers, your J Dillas. You understand? Those the people, they're Tupac. Those the people that, if you remember, where it came from, you're always going to secure your future. It's mostly tribal. And that's, as a living legend, I want to be able to just sit down and have food for thought and conversation with the youngins and let them know, man, this is our culture. Be proud where you come from. You know what I mean? At the same time, this OG is embracing the youngins. So hopefully we can embrace each other and let it go even farther where it's supposed to go. So that's my story, legendary Kokane.
Yo, thank you.
Right on.
Off top.
Right on.
Off top. Okay. And before we get up out of here, I gotta hit you with my legendary question that I always ask. Man, we got a legend in here too, Kokane. What is your top 5 artists, dead or alive? No order, just your top 5.
I mean, Michael Jackson, Prince, Tupac. I would have to name 100, but you only said 5. Marvin Gaye. Who else? Give me 10 seconds to answer that. Aretha Franklin.
Interesting. Yeah. That's dope. Favorite kind of weed?
Bubba Kush.
Favorite food?
I still make spreads.
Okay. You threw me on that one.
I still make
Okay.
spreads.
Now, me and my wife, we have a show we do on YouTube. It's called Hoodies. We go to every little city, all the little bomb little spots in the hood to eat, and we vlog about it, give it, our opinion.
Okay.
Where in Pomona we gotta go eat?
Damn, you caught me on that one. I was just there. I'm tripping. It's on Gary. Somebody help me out. I was just there.
And this how we gonna do it. Say that, and then say this. Okay, you'll know like what street it's on and what it's around, cause they gonna say it in the comments.
It's off Gary across the street from Stater Brothers Chicken Place.
Okay. In Pomona, off Gary, across from Stater Brothers.
Yeah.
Y'all let us know in the comments. What is it?
Let us know in the comments.
Off top.
I know it off top. I need to kick myself in the ass for not remembering it.
Favorite cartoon character?
Popeye.
Favorite song that's on the radio right now?
I don't listen to the radio.
What's your favorite hook that's not yours?
Sugar free. I'd rather give you my beds.
Favorite shoes?
Chuck Taylor's.
Favorite liquor?
Remy.
Favorite movie?
Count of Monte Cristo.
Favorite hot sauce?
Come on, man, the rooster.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite sports team?
I want to say the Lakers, but they fucking. I'm still say the Lakers.
Favorite flavor ice cream?
Rocky Road.
Favorite blunts?
I don't smoke blunts. I'm old school. I smoke Zags.
That's it.